Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. Today's video, we are finally back in action after a weekend that was nothing short of a riot. It is now time to put that into the old rear view and refocus because there's a new carrot being dangled in front of this Rangers team, and that's qualification to the knockouts with a game to spare. Cheap plug as always, but if you enjoy the channel, why not help the channel out by hitting that subscribe button? It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, and it just helps us on our way. Now, all joking and plugging to one side, there is actually a massive game of football happening for Rangers tomorrow, so let's just dive right into the old oppositional preview then, shall we, and have a wee look / update on this standard team. And you know what's really weird about this standard preview? If you actually cast your minds back to our last one, everything we kind of talked about their strong start to the season, having only lost once and coming into their own, playing well, doing this, doing that, sitting third in the league. Well, all that right there is kind of just took a long range effort for Kamal Roof because it's kind of flipped on its head. And they're really starting to struggle because since they lost 2-0 versus us, they actually followed that up with a short 2-0 loss in the league versus a team that was sitting bottom. And before we go ahead and speak more about their league form, it wasn't as if they were saving themselves for Europe either, as they were comfortably beaten 3-0 versus Benfica before being spanked 3-1 versus Lech Poznan. And I don't know if those European matches were affecting them, but in the league, they continued to struggle. There was no bounce back. There was no, right, I'm at it. No, because if you look at the league form, they have only one win of the last 4 league matches, with 3 of them being draws, including the most recent league match, which was actually a 0-0 draw versus Anderlecht, which wouldn't be the worst result in the world, by the way, especially for the run that they're actually on. But when you actually look into that, Anderlecht aren't exactly firing on all cylinders and having their best season either. So apologies for the cut, by the way, but Rocky was having his own little sponsor break. But as I was saying there, after that draw versus an Anderlecht side that again isn't necessarily at their best, I think it is well and truly fair to say that they are doing the exact opposite now than what they were doing the last time we played them. Now, despite that downward spiral of form, they did get a massive result last week in European football, which has apparently lifted the entire place, lifted the entire squad. That is the moment that they've been trying to get now over the last couple of weeks since that loss versus Rangers, just to get everyone back on side and buy in into an idea. Well, they got that last week versus Lech Poznan in a game of football that can only ever be described as 2 teams scrapping for their European lives, because both teams finished the game with 10 men. It was fiery, it was everything you want for a game of football, but it was Standard that came through the battle with Lech Poznan as they scored a 93rd minute winner in the game, which leaves them with an opportunity still to qualify from this group. Speaking of the group, by the way, this is what the current table looks like before a game is played tomorrow. And as you can see, we sit top of the league and they actually sit bottom. But again, that win versus Lech Poznan keeps them in the hunt, because if they can take maximum points, they have a chance of qualifying. And that is kind of the noise from their side of things. Go and win your games and we'll see what happens at the end of it. But it is important to remember that European football doesn't go down to goal difference, it goes down to head to head. That's why we are currently top versus Benfica, because we went to their ground and scored more goals. We got a 3-3 draw, we had a 2-2 draw at Ibrox, so we sit top. So with us beating them 2-0 at their ground, you know exactly what they need to do now when they come to Ibrox. They'll not be sitting back trying to hang on and clip a 1-0 win versus Rangers, though. They need to go from the first whistle to the last and get a big result, because a draw isn't good enough thanks to the head-to-head versus Rangers. So they'll be coming to Ibrox tomorrow trying to pick up all 3 points and scoring a couple goals. Now, regarding their ability to score goals, by the way, they're obviously a good side. I'm not going to sit here and repeat how they set up and how they play. Don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with that, because I know you're a channel legend. You saw the last preview. We broke all that down and we saw them with our own eyes. We know how good they are at moving the football, and they can play some nice things and they can actually hurt teams. However, one player that won't be hurting us tomorrow is their centre forward Olair, who was actually sent off in that game that we previously mentioned versus Lech Poznan. And given the fact that I've probably went ahead and absolutely butcherised that lad's name, that probably is the best place to end the standard preview right frickin' there. We've spoken about what they need and how they're going to be going at this game of football. So let's actually flip over now and talk about it from the Rangers perspective, what we need and how we will counter that. And you know what? I've actually got a massive smile on my face right now. Not only because we're getting to sit and talk about Rangers things, which is always fun today, but given the fact that everything that we have just said there, the plums are plumping with this game of football because of the desperation from Standard Liege, the fact that they are going to need to pile people forward, the fact that they need to go there and score goals and not get a draw. That makes me think from a Rangers perspective, and I go, wait a minute, what are we actually good at? What are we the best at doing in European football? Oh, that's right, sitting in and countering, using the ball properly, picking holes in space and take advantage of high lines. Well, every single one of them is hopefully going to be on show tomorrow, because on paper that is how it looks. You have one team going gung-ho and you've got another team that's very good at picking holes in teams that go gung-ho. So San's going to give them more, and that prospect right there just excites me. And where we spent a lot of today's video speaking about Standard's motivation coming into this game of football, let's flip it and let's have a look at our motivation, because we have to match that same intensity and the same mindset to going out there and winning the game. And I think we will, people, because we have an opportunity not only to qualify for the knockouts with a game to spare, which that right there is an absolute achievement, by the way. Let's hope we go ahead and do that. But by winning this game of football, that gives us the opportunity going into the last game with a chance to top the entire group, which that right there would be absolutely sensational, especially with how the knockouts work with teams coming in for the championship and everything. That right there, topping this group, could be massive. So to me, this game right here is setting up to be absolute fireworks, as there's massive opportunities on the table for both sides, and it's basically a must-win for both teams if you think about it like that. Now, of course, a draw would also see Rangers qualify into the next round, but with the opportunity to top the group thanks to the double-header versus Benfica already done, we know exactly what Steven Gerrard will want from his boys going into this game, the Mora. And that's a win with the opportunity to top the group in the last game. But before we finish up today's video and fire out our predictions, let's finish up with some Rangers team news and fitness updates then, shall we? Because unfortunately the smile is slowly fading in the old face, because we need to confirm that Ryan Jack is officially ruled out of this game. However, Jacko should, touch wood, should be back for the game at the weekend, which would be absolutely massive. And where that's kind of a shining light, the fact that yes, he is missing this game, but he could be possibly back for the weekend and should be back for the weekend, we get an even brighter light as Joe Aribo is officially available for this game of football. And his ability with the ball, his ability to make space and his ability to pick a pass, he right there could be absolutely vital in a game that's going to have loads of standard players in our half. Now, the only other injury update to give you is of course the fact that Brandon Barker limped off the park versus Falkirk, but thankfully it looks as if the substitution was more of a precaution than a reaction to something more serious, as he's apparently training today, and it's going to be a decision made by the gaffer and the management team tomorrow on whether or not Barker is involved. And I know he's got his critics and stuff like that, and rightly so, he's not always been 100% at it, but if you look at what he brings to the table and how they're going to be setting up, having a Barker as an option to come on the bench, using that pace in behind the space that is going to be there, he could just have a Barker masterclass if he's involved no more. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The only other injury update to give you is of course Katic, who's about a month away from getting back involved. And that's today's video. That is the oppositional preview. That has been the Rangers preview, and that has been the latest Rangers team news. So now all that's left, now that that's wrapped up in a neat little bow, is for me to hand that present over to you guys. Now you know a little bit more about the game. What is your thoughts and predictions for the game tomorrow? And while you're hopefully getting involved in the channel, down there in the comment section below, I will give you mine very, very briefly. You know what? I'm expecting goals in this game. I'm expecting a bit of a barn burner. I don't know who's ever said that. I don't know why it's in my mind, but it's there now. We've said it. Let's move on. I'm actually going to go Rangers 3, Standard 1. I do think they'll get a goal in this game just because how many players who will be piling forward and how badly they need the goal. But I do think that our ability to counter-attack, I think Connor Gold's long ball is going to be massive in this game. I see Ryan Kent's pace, and whoever's on the right-hand side, whether it's Aribo, Hadji, Roof, whoever is out there is going to have a field day, and hopefully have a field day. So I'm seeing a lot of goals in this game for Rangers, and that leads me to my goal scorers. I'm going to go right across the entire attacking line. I'm going to go with Ryan Kent, I'm going to go with Morelos, and I'm going with Roof. One for every single forward in this game. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Now that me and thee have had their say, it's time to wrap up today's video with a massive thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit here and listen to me. And if you've got involved in the comment section below, I'll see you there shortly, and I'll be talking to you about the game right there. But as always, take care of yourselves, everyone. See you tomorrow. All the best, and bye-bye.